The first and most important thing an individual can do is to become an individual again, decontrol himself, train himself as to what is going on, and win back as much independent ground for himself as possible.
I trust myself enough that whatever I'm gonna do is just fine.
Austin Babbit, is a contemporary artist from Queens, New York. According to him, he grew up poor, according to him. The reason why I'm saying according to him is because he's kind of mysterious and vague about his origins. It's hard to tell when he's being sincere, but that's not a bad thing because it only adds more flavor to the man. And if there's one definitive thing you can say about a name like Asspizza, it's all about flavor. So why does Austin matter? In his mid-teens, he came up in the Tumblr era. He was into graffiti, spending plenty of time marking up private property. After posting some pictures on social media, he was spotted and retweeted by Luca Sabat. That's all it took. Overnight, he gained mass followers. Sure, we can say he was put on by other kids with money and fame, but there's a reason why people stay interested in Asspizza.
We were so inspired by Asspizza that we decided to make a clothing project inspired by this jacket and you. We'll get into that later.
Through his interests and exploits, he would befriend the new upcoming youth kings, Luca, Mike the Ruler, Father Steve, Sheck West, Ian Connor, and Kerwin Frost. Austin first encountered Kerwin, who was in a belligerent tantrum while smoking in an Apple store. The two clicked immediately. Austin went on to be an honorary member of the Spaghetti Boys, this underground creative collective that focused on music, art, and fashion. And here's where it gets interesting. In 2016, while trying to get some St. Pablo tour merch at an NYC pop-up, Austin realized something. What makes these clothes so special? He saw that the merch was printed on ordinary garments like Gildan tees and Levi's jackets. Why can't he come up the same way Kanye has? So he rushed home, he made some screen printing moves, and not long after, he was right across the street from the pop-up shop, selling bootleg Pablo merch, cashing out. The idea was so novel and on point that the staff didn't even have him removed. They invited him in to hang out. While getting to know the crew, Austin and Kerwin put their own stuff up in the store and sold it. This move was recognized by Kanye, and Austin was able to make a short run of his own authorized bootleg Pablo merch. Asspizza isn't about looking fresh and fly. It's not about having expensive taste or being limited edition. His work embodies the idea that you, whoever you are, must be an active participant in your life. Does that make sense? Think about it. You can't be a passive consumer of information and experiences throughout your existence. You have to put yourself in the driver's seat, grab the wheel, and go somewhere. Austin embodies this in everything he does. He got clout off the fake Pablo merch. He started customizing sought-after streetwear pieces. While other kids were trying to stand out by conforming to what the cool brands had already designed, Asspizza was placing his mark over other brands. While most creatives like Virgil Abloh were focused on using lesser garments and covering prestigious brands, Austin was defacing hypebeast treasure in order to put his name first. He gave his clothing experiments away, and they made their way onto the likes of Wiz Khalifa, I Love McConan, and XXXTentacion. This helped his talent get more noticed, as well as his social circle. Austin was given the spotlight through the likes of V-Files and Complex, and eventually a collaboration with Off-White and Heron Preston.
Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Right guy, right place, right time. Well, it's not really that simple.
You see, Asspizza in his work is all about imperfection. Just look at the word imperfection. It has the word perfect in it, but the word itself is the description of things not going according to plan. Austin commits himself to the driver's seat no matter where the ride goes. In the early days, he would fund his clothing habit by pretending to be an internet video girl in various forums. Eventually, he'd find a few paying customers to Skype with his fake internet girl footage, then take the money and start his clothing hustle. His first time trying to sell his Asspizza embroidered hats was a miniature disaster. The hats sold out online and Austin ranked in close to $25,000. He originally planned to have them made by a cheap Chinese manufacturer. Because he wasn't used to having so much money so quickly, he spent his earnings gallivanting around town in Rick Owens clothing and taking unnecessary, expensive Uber rides. Unfortunately, the Chinese manufacturer had scammed Austin, leaving him with no money, no merchandise, and no hope. Months later, Austin was able to find a financer to help him deliver the hats and refunds to the customers. When Austin was unable to pay back his financer, he was met with a lawsuit. When he talked to the guy suing him, his only request was that they settle their legal issues on an episode of Judge Judy. His idea was to get more clout and exposure, even though he was being sued. In 2017, he made his own guerrilla campaign to introduce his clothing collection by putting up posters all over the NYC subways, like Cause before him. He took this risky, illegal move to get his name out there. But unlike the mid-90s, this rogue move actually came across as manufactured. Not too many people paid attention to these ads, and the people who did thought that Austin had permission from the city. All that effort and not much reward. Austin grew up poor, and his mom is a bit in the dark about what he does for a living. His life isn't luxurious. He's not handsome. He could benefit from a gym membership and a better diet. People freely insult him, and his clothes look like, well, trash. But he's out there, somewhere, creating, whether he succeeds or not. Asspizza clothing is made from thrifted items. With the help of a few others, he Frankensteins these found materials together to make a living collage. T-shirts, ski masks, jackets, pants, all constructed out of clothing with a former life.
These clothes are just real. They've been through experiences. Crazy, like we got all these old clothes from the thrift store. And this is probably like some little girl sweater. Now it's gonna be in this person's jeans. There's just so many different people that wore these clothes and just still traveling the world.
On that note, I like to talk about how Asspizza inspired what Post Product makes. Because we can't just talk about like Asspizza, we gotta live like Asspizza.
The goal here is to make a living work of art that can be shared. Something that can evolve over time and take on a life of its own. I picked up this denim jacket from a secondhand store. Then I spent a long time just painting over every inch of the jacket, describing its purpose. I took some pictures of it in Chicago, then sent it to Felipe in Miami. From there, Felipe took the wheel.
Okay, so I remember I used to have a reflective vest from when I used to pick up trash by the highways. And then I remember I wanted to take the reflective stripes from the vest so I could stick them into the jacket. I actually tried to go to a dry cleaner to see if they could do it for me, but they were like trying to charge me $50 for doing it. So I was like, nah, man, I can do it myself. So I ended up stitching it by hand. And yeah, this is how it turned out.
With Push Products' creative DNA infused into the jacket, we're now sending it out there into the world. We want this jacket to go to another creative person that will add their own touch to it, then pass it to the next worthy recipient. Just to make this clear, you can't keep the jacket. You can only borrow it, customize it, and choose the next person to pass it to. Whoever you give the jacket to has to be a dope artist in some form.
So comment down below who should get the jacket next. They could be anybody. The only requirements are 1. They have to be more creative than you. 2. They gotta be somebody that's always making dope stuff. 3. It's gotta be somebody that lives and breathes the artist's lifestyle. If you know who that person is, tag them down below in the comments and also tag them in our latest Instagram post. And if you think that person is you, then do the same thing. Tag yourself in the comments down below and tag yourself in our most recent Instagram post.
So you, yes, you. Let's build a community around this piece of art. Let us know when you have the jacket and we'll post it on our Instagram page. We'll keep a running track of where the jacket has traveled. Let's take a piece of clothing, make it personal, then share it. Just like Asspizza did. As usual, we like to shout out upcoming indie creators that are worth checking out. For this episode, we chose his brand name Dancing Star, made by a dude who goes by Rich the Fan. He makes wavy, aesthetic clothing that has a really playful and personal touch. Rich the Fan, like Austin, is taking fashion into his own hands, and so should you. Recently, Asspizza is known to be renting Airbnbs for extended periods of time, spending countless hours making his clothes, then driving to odd parts of the country to sell and gift his collection. While most hypebeast offerings make their first retail impacts in places like New York, Los Angeles, Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and other major metropolitan areas, you're likely to catch an Asspizza drop in a Walmart parking lot in Texas, out of the trunk of a car. Because Austin knows that you don't necessarily need to be plugged into the network in order to be an artist. Sometimes, all you need is a vision and the desire to see it happen. Austin resembles a lot of quirky talents, from Harmony Korine to Wes Lang or Cactus Plant Flea Market. He's certainly this generation's key eccentric, but he really reminds me of someone else. There was this guy in the late 1970s and early 80s New York. He started out writing odd passages and quotes on walls, going by the name Samo. He slept on floors, made noise rock, let his hair go crazy. His name was Jean-Michel Basquiat, and he became the premier abstract artist of his time. He sampled visuals and artistic influences, then remixed them to make his own flavor. His personality and mannerisms were consistently off rhythm, but magnetic nonetheless. His creations were jarring and morbid, yet held some childlike friendliness. Basquiat held a simple demeanor, but you could always tell something was cooking between his ears. Austin Babbit shares many qualities with this man. Maybe Jean-Michel's ghost occasionally visits Austin while he sleeps.
Maybe this is a big stretch.
Who cares? Let's just keep going.
The point is this: you can watch this video, move on, life is peachy. Nothing wrong with that.
Or you can take this moment to establish new rules for yourself. You can follow them strictly or radically break them. It's simple, but not easy. It's miraculous, but not special. It's your choice. So what can we learn from the one they call Asspizza? 1. Take every opportunity. Opportunities are attracted only to other opportunities, so start collecting them. 2. Be true to yourself. This isn't a state of being. It's a journey that requires exploration. 3. Let your creations speak. Everything has a story to tell, so make sure that some of those stories are about you. The culture that we cover is often painfully superficial and materialistic, but we owe it to the true artists to move past the fads and the trends and find the art that truly has a soul. And when that artist has a dumb name, it makes you realize something, that life is equally profound as it is dumb. It's as meaningful as it is insignificant. It's whatever you choose it to be, so be like Austin and follow your dreams. That's what it means to push product.